Welcome to another book review, and today we are going to review The Hookup Plan by Farah Rochin. I really hope I pronounced that right. Okay, so The Hookup Plan. It follows London and Drew. So basically, London and Drew used to go to high school together, basically like their junior, senior year of high school. And they're both like, top of their class type of students. Well, Drew and London were very competitive. And I believe, if I remember correctly, in the end, Drew ended up taking the spot as the valedictorian for the senior class of that graduating year. So, Drew's basically, 10 years later, they're in their 30s, they bump into each other at their high school reunion. London is a pediatrics doctor in her last year of her residency, and Drew is like a successful, I want to say like hedge fund manager of his own company titled Trident. Well, after all these years, they basically still have that, I guess, competitiveness with each other, where this book presents itself as an enemies to lovers romance. At the high school reunion, basically one thing leads to another, and they end up hooking up. So, London basically liked what occurred with Drew, and she basically says, hey, while you're in town, why don't we keep this going? No strings attached, no cuddles, no dates, just hook up, and that's it. Well, Drew goes along with the plan. Because he is going to be in town basically going over the finances of the county hospital that London works at, which does not do anything good for their acquaintanceship, I guess you could say. With that being said, that is basically, no spoiler, what the book is about. It's basically about how they navigate this hookup plan without catching feelings for each other while they're basically working in the same area. With that being said, one, this book was presented to me as a standalone. I found out as I was reading it that it's basically a third in a low-key series that Farah has written. The ones before it are The Boyfriend Project and Dating Plan Book. Now again, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that when I bought it. And it's not presented in that way. You can read this book as a standalone, but you kind of get like vibes throughout the book with her friends that you're missing something. I don't know if Farah wrote it so that way you'd be interested in the other novels that she wrote. I didn't like that part because, most of the time when I read books and they present supporting characters, they kind of talk about the supporting characters a little bit so you kind of understand, the friend's background. This book didn't, which I found kind of interesting because, I kept getting her friends confused because I was like, I'm not getting anything about them. And that's when I kind of realized, okay, these characters are from the other books. Cool. The book had potential. I really didn't like it. It was kind of a forced read. It just felt like it was just a lot of drama. It was all over the place. I liked the character London. I love the character development and how they're explaining, why she was so competitive and gave that kind of background. But I just felt like they added too much to her. Like, they had one aspect of explaining why she was so competitive, and then they added another, and then they added another. It just made London too much. Like, it was just too much to deal with. Because then you're dealing with everything going on with London on top of her acquaintanceship with Drew, and then you have Drew's whole backstory. It was just like it's just, for me, it was a bit rushed. Even though the book is kind of thick, it just felt like everything was rushed, where you're just like, whoa, let us deal with one situation at a time. And then it was just too much going on. It's too busy. And I like my romance, even my enemies to lovers romance, to focus on the task at hand. It just felt like we were dipping in too many pots. So there's that. I just wasn't a fan of the way that London was dealing with a lot of things. Like I said, I liked her character, who she was as a character. I love that she was a doctor. I love that she, wasn't taking anyone's BS. I loved Drew's character. I loved, his whole demeanor and everything. It's just, I don't know. The story, it wasn't, I was never interested in reading it. If you have a lot going on personally, and you're using reading as kind of an escape, the last thing you want to do is escape into more drama. And that's kind of how I felt like I wasn't, like, the world that I was being brought into, I did not want to deal with it. I was just like, no, I already had a long day. I already had a long morning. The last thing I want to do is dive into some mess and dive into some drama. So it took me a while to read it. It ended up taking me a whole week. And if you've watched my previous book reviews, if I like a book, I'm finishing it within hours, maybe 2 days max. This book took me so long to finish. It was too much. It was too much for me. With that being said, spice level, just how she wrote it, I would say it was a 3. Spiciness happened, but it was at a level of a 3 in regards to description, which it was fine. I was fine with. If I had to say, like, hey, would I recommend this book to someone else to read? If I know that person's going through something, I wouldn't recommend it. If somebody's bored or, like, into, being nosy into mess, like, if you like watching reality TV where it's like a lot of bickering, like Bad Girls Club or Real Husbands or Housewives, so that means like you're just into, conflict like that, then yeah, I would recommend it to you. But if you're just trying to escape for a bit because you got stuff going on, I would not recommend reading this book, because you're going to be like, whoa, this is too much going on. Like always, I hope this helps you make a decision on whether or not to dive into the hookup plan or not. Check out my other book reviews. Thanks for watching.